Blessings to you and welcome to another week of our Sunday school lesson review. I'm going to be brief this morning, but I want to bring out some points in our lesson that may be able to help us to see into our lesson a little bit deeper and find out what's going on and why it's going on. We're still in our second unit, Wisdom in the Gospels, dealing with wisdom, the understanding or the application of the proper understanding of truth, which is the Word of God. We're dealing with wisdom that amazes and astounds and offends. Last week we dealt with wisdom that amazes. This week we're dealing with wisdom that astounds, all right, which is basically the same thing, but it also offends, all right. Everybody's not going to be happy about your revelation. Everybody's not going to be happy about your piety or the way you carry yourself in a God-like manner, Christ-like manner. Everybody's not going to be happy about the wisdom that you have. You're always going to have people who are not rooting for you, not in your corner. Our lesson this week takes us to Mark chapter number 6, the first 6 verses. Jesus is in his hometown where he grew up according to the flesh. All right. I say according to the flesh because he's preeminent. He is the everlasting God. All right. But he is teaching and no doubt he's also healing, because we find out as we read later that he's able to heal a few people. And so the people who are in the temple on the Sabbath day says, where does he get this knowledge from? And where does he get this power from to do the things that he's doing? Then they begin to call out his whole family. They say, is this not the carpenter? So apparently, according to the flesh, as the oldest son, Jesus carried his father, his earthly, not biological, but his earthly father's legacy on as the carpenter. Is this not the son of Mary? We know Mary. We know her story, her background. We know his brother, James, Joseph, Judah, and his sisters are here with us too. How did all of this get past us? Okay. Now, after they acknowledged how amazing it offended them. It offended them because they thought they knew Jesus. All right. This is proof that Jesus did not do anything outside of God's timing. If they saw Jesus heal way back then, they would have understood where the power came from at this point in his life, after his 3-year ministry on earth has begun. They're offended because they think they know who Jesus is and where he came from. In other words, they made Jesus coming. Instead of glorifying God for what they see before them, they made Jesus coming. All right. So to help us today, if you have made God coming, if you have made Jesus coming, in other words, if you have put him on your level, you're not going to respect him for who he is. You won't have that healthy reverential fear. And not only that, if you have made him coming, then you won't have respect for the man or the woman of God who is being sent to preach to the nations, or being sent to operate under the power of God. Because you're looking at the person thinking you know the person because you've seen where they come from, and you're forgetting the fact that there is a higher power at work. You can't respect that higher power if you made him coming because of you judging what you see with your eyes. In other words, you got to be able to look with the spiritual eye and see that it's not about the flesh that's in front of you. It's about the power that dwells in the flesh. You got to respect that power. If you don't respect that person, you won't respect that power. God is using that person whether you agree with them or not. God is using that person whether you held them in your arms when there was a baby, whatever the case may be. But God is using the person. You got to respect the power that the person is operating under. All right? You got to be able to separate the two. Okay? I can't make you out to be a God. And because I'm a pastor, you can't make me out to be a God. But God is using me. God is using you. And I respect the God power in you enough to not put you down. Enough to not say, you can't be doing this. I can't look at you like God can't use you. We used to sing a song when I was a kid, just ordinary people. Just ordinary people. God uses ordinary people like you and me. And as I said this morning, we said many times, I hear my uncle say it, we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. Stop missing out on your blessing because you have prejudged the blesser or the one God is using to bless you. There have been many people who weren't able to be healed. There have been many people who didn't get saved. Many people who didn't get whatever breakthrough or whatever blessing God had in store for them because they rejected the person God sent. It's not about the person, it's about the power. Not about the person, it's about the power. It's not about the person, it's about the power. Because of this, Jesus was unable, the all-powerful Jesus, he's unable to do the works that his heart wants to do while he's there because the people have made him common. They don't have faith in him as divine. They don't have faith in the power that he's operating in. They have just basically shoved him to the side and they have rejected him because they think they know him. What a tragedy. They got offended. Some things, they're supposed to offend us. Okay, if you say certain things around me, or if you do certain things around me that goes against my character, that's supposed to offend us. But people take offense to things that aren't necessarily offensive, if that makes sense. People will take offense to things because it makes them look like they're not as good as you, or it makes them look like you're better than them, whatever the case may be. People take offense, really, if you really want to call it what it is jealousy. People take offense because they're jealous. That's not true offense. Okay? That's not true offense. You're just jealous. So, Jesus is unable, the all-powerful Jesus is unable to work the type of works that he's truly capable of doing because the people have no faith in him as being divine and they don't acknowledge the power he's operating under. And Jesus says in our last outline that a prophet is not without honor. People everywhere else will honor him except in his own country and among his own kin and in his own house. He marveled because of their unbelief. All right. I pastor my own people. I don't expect more than what Jesus got. I don't. So when it comes, when the respect comes, when the love comes, I'm grateful. Because Jesus has shown me that the people were not able to receive their blessing because they made him common. Wisdom that amazes, that astounds, even though it astounds you, it offends you because you're jealous. It wasn't your child. It wasn't you. Let's please, let us take our minds off of us and put our minds on Christ. And when we see the power of Christ at work in the believer, let's celebrate the fact that God has done something. God bless you. May God keep you. Lord's willing, we hope to see you on next week.